Hi, I'm Rick Vance. I'm one of the co-founders of Temple Keeper, and I'd like to share with you for just a few moments about unleashing the power in you. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. That's an important verse for me because when I was 16 years old, I had to live into that verse. I took that as my life verse, and then when I was in high school, I was told that probably I would amount to nothing more than a bag boy in a grocery store because of some choices that I had made on my journey. I believed that I could do all things through Christ that strengthens me, and I kept moving on. Really, as we understand that our power that we have is not from within ourselves, but really from the God that dwells within us, then we have the ability to make differences, make changes, and move forward. Matthew chapter 19, verse 26 says, But Jesus looked at them and said, With man that it is impossible, but with God all things are possible. That's an important thought for us as we begin or continue our journey through weight loss or through making any changes in our lives. Because sometimes we don't understand how we can take that next step. We need to go into ourselves and into the God that is in us and understand that we can move ahead. One of the ways that we do that is not only by our relationship with God, but also in Christian conversation. From my Wesleyan heritage, I understand that John Wesley called us to be in conversation with brothers and sisters in Christ who will help us along the journey. That was one of the key principles of Temple Keepers as we began to form it, to bring people together who are on a like journey, to help them move forward and to find encouragement and strength for the journey that was ahead. It's one of the important features of Temple Keepers and moving along in whatever goals that we set. Sometimes not doing that, we get caught in ourselves, and it's like seeing the forest for the trees. We can't see anything except for our way. So by working with other people in other situations, we can bring their experiences and their wisdom into our situation, and we can begin to use it to guide us and to direct us. Where do we draw this strength to do that? I think we draw that from the courage that we get from God and the courage that we get from each other. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. That is an amazing promise from God, that we don't have to be afraid of anything, whether it be weight loss or making new decisions or changing directions in our journey, that God has given us the ability, the strength, and the power within us to make changes in ourselves and in the world that we live. What do we do when we get down? I think we go back to the fundamentals that we've already talked about. We go back to that finding that power and that understanding that we can do all things through Christ that strengthen us, Philippians 4:13. I think we go back to our Christian conversation and our support groups, which is the core piece of what Temple Keepers is about. How did that live out in my life? Well, even though I was told that I would never amount to anything, I decided to go to college. I got my associate's degree. I got a bachelor's degree. I had a pretty good career in healthcare, and then God called me into the ministry. I got my master's degree, and then I went ahead and got a doctoral degree. Why? Because I was that smart? Probably not. But I chose to believe that my power is not necessarily my own, but it is the God who lives in me. It's the power within me that I could do all things through Christ. That's what I would encourage you to do today, is to depend on that power and that strength that God gives you. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you.